Congresswoman Ilhan Omar insists she's not a multimillionaire, and she's now offering an explanation in air quotes there about why her financial disclosures say she and her husband have a net worth of $30 million. Chanley Painter.
She's doubling down that she's not a millionaire after her income disclosures sent shockwaves through Capitol Hill and calls from the president for a fraud investigation. So Representative Ilhan Omar now insisting the initial numbers in the disclosure filed last May were completely off base, which was an accounting that showed her net worth of up to $30 million. But now an amended filing shows shared assets with her husband of up to just $95,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, quite frankly, what we're seeing from Ilhan Omar, in my opinion, is another lie, because we know her and her husband, they're under investigation for alleged fraud, and the walls are closing in because they went from being worth a couple $1,000s to being worth tens of millions of dollars in the space of a year or two. And her husband, their businesses, they're under scrutiny. So right now, what she's stating, that instead of being worth tens of millions of dollars, which she was claiming a year ago on her financial disclosures, she's saying, well, we're not worth that. We're worth about $95,000, which in my opinion, I think Ilhan Omar, she thinks that the American people were stupid, so she can say whatever she wants to try to cover up and hide for the fraud that she's been committing. Let us take a look at this reporting that explains more about this scam by Ilhan Omar. Play clip.
So I have a question for you. Have you ever accidentally thought that you were a multimillionaire? Well, Ilhan Omar says she is not a multimillionaire. And look at this headline from the Wall Street Journal. She thought she was, though. Omar was standing down. Look at this headline. Ilhan Omar says she isn't a multimillionaire, blames accounting error. Okay, so an accounting error led her to believe she was very wealthy. Well, Omar was staring down a potential investigation after disclosing that she and her husband's assets were valued between $6 million and $30 million on a financial disclosure form. Now listen to this. That was an astronomical increase in wealth from her last disclosure, but she has since amended her filing, now saying that her assets are valued between $18,004 to $95,000. So 6 to 30 million to under 100,000. How in the world does that happen? Well, according to the Wall Street Journal, quote, aides said that Omar looked at the form before it was filed in 2025, but that the error did not jump off the page for her because she isn't involved with her husband's businesses.
There's no way Ilhan Omar thinks that the American people will fall for this, her lies, where she's trying to cover up for the fraud her and her husband they've been committing. Because here she's claiming that they're no longer worth tens of millions of dollars, that they're actually worth $95,000, which is a complete lie in my opinion. Because for one, I think she's trying to cover up for the fraud her and her husband they've been committing. And the second thing, she's saying this is an accounting error, which staffers, they're saying that Ilhan Omar, that she looked at the forms before they were submitted. She knew exactly what was in these forms and she knew exactly what she was doing. And here we have a video of Ilhan Omar where she's being confronted in regards to these filings, and she tried to pretend like she didn't know what was in these forms or what her husband was up to. Play clip.
They said you reported a net worth between $6 million and $30 million, and they said your 2023 disclosure was roughly $40,000, between $40,000 and $250,000.
Yeah, but they're not net worths. They're like the asset things for the companies, and so I don't know what percentage of it my husband actually has investment in. Like that's not, you know what I mean? It's not a full picture of the numbers in the way that it is presented in the document, because in the documents we have to do ranges and we have to like report in a way that is not detailed. It's not like your tax return that you're submitting for the public record to see.
But that is a big increase, though. So you could understand why people would ask questions.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it'll get like adjusted at some level when those ranges are looked.
This is insane because you're telling me that you had to range how much you guys are worth, and you range it from $6 million to $30 million. And now you're coming back to tell us that that range is not correct, that we are only worth $95,000, which is insane. How can you get something that's simple so fundamentally wrong? And the thing is, she's saying, well, I don't know how much my husband has invested. But the thing is, we know that the businesses that her husband has, they're fake. They're completely fake. Allegedly, they're completely fake businesses. The winery that they reportedly own, it is completely fake. The consulting businesses that he reportedly owned is completely fake as well. So at this point, Ilhan Omar, she's just a liar, and she needs to be investigated, which she is already being investigated. And now we need her to be held accountable because she cannot sit there and lie to the American people like that. She's a member of Congress and she needs to start acting like it. There's no one in Congress right now with the amount of fraud allegations like Ilhan Omar. This is insane. How is she still a member of Congress? And here we have another video of Ilhan Omar where she's saying she doesn't care. They can investigate her all they want. Let us play clip.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I listen, suggest all you want. Please investigate all you want, right? Like, to me, I'm not like I'm above the law and how dare you, like, I understand politics. I understand what these people have to do in order to, like, feed their base.
This is what it looks like when the walls are closing in, because Ilhan Omar knows that accountability is coming her way because she knows that she committed fraud, which is why she did this recent amendment to say we're not worth that much money. We're worth less money because they lied, because she committed fraud, her and her husband. This is what panicking looks like in real time. And here I have another video to show you of her being confronted in regards to these filings. Play clip.
Hi, Congresswoman Omar. You were just talking about how Trump's economy has failed the American people, but I think the American people really want to know how you went from a negative 65,000 before coming into Congress to over $30 million in just 7 years.
My disclosure is public now.
Yeah, it is. And so a lot of people now are looking into that and finding S. Crew Winery, a winery that doesn't actually seem to exist. Is that a real winery, or?
Do you all actually look at and read things, or do you just ask silly questions?
Well, it's listed in the financial disclosures, so can you explain it? Because we have a lot of questions about it, and things just aren't adding up. There's no real phone number. There's no real location.
Why did you want to buy some wine?
Probably not from you, to be honest. Hi, Congresswoman Omar.
So she wants people to read the disclosures, and the more and more people read the disclosures, there are more and more questions, and we're not getting answers. This is what I think needs to happen. Ilhan Omar needs to go in front of Congress. We need to have a hearing on this, where she sit down in front of a committee of some sort and answer all the questions from the American people. This is what needs to happen because, for one, because there's no way a member of Congress should be able to lie to the American people, defraud the American people, because we know she's tied up in a whole bunch of different frauds. We're talking about immigration fraud. We're talking about Somali daycare fraud in Minneapolis, right? Because we know that those people actually donated to her campaign, allegedly. The American people has questions, and these questions must be answered. The next video that I want to show you is of Ilhan Omar, where she was confronted in regards to the Minnesota Somali fraud. And what she proceeded to do, she proceeded to say, well, black people will be targeted because this fraud was committed by Somalians, but black people will be affected by that. They will be targeted, which is insane. She'll say anything and do anything except to take responsibility. Play clip.
I think it's what now 230 million that has been.
They say, well, 250 is what they say.
Yeah,
250
yeah.
Misuse funds meant for child nutrition.
Yeah, 230 to 250. There's been about 77 or so.
75 defendants.
Yeah, that have been indicted. Many of them have taken plea agreements.
That makes it. They got to make it hard for you, right? Just in general, not because you got anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But when he can point and say, "Well, this actually happened."
No, I mean it doesn't make it hard for me, but it does make it hard for the average Somali business owner.
There you go.
It makes it hard for the average immigrant business owner. It makes it hard for the average Black business owner, because it does create this cloud of suspicion, and obviously it's become very politicized.
This does not affect Black people or immigrants. We're talking about legal immigrants. This only affects the fraudsters, the people that are committing fraud. Maybe Ilhan Omar, you should go to these fraudsters, look at them, and tell them to stop ripping off the American taxpayers. Tell them when they come to this country, they should try to assimilate, try to give back, try to be grateful instead of ripping off the American taxpayer and then turning around and hating the country. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please let me know what you think in the comment section in regards to Ilhan Omar and this new filing. Also, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.